I'm gonna make a video here and jump in on this public education versus private education versus internet education. First off, well, I see both points, but I'm pretty sure I side more on the side of Inmendham, but there are some things I differ a little bit with him. First of all, and this is no shot, listen, what is it? I think Ron Paul's smart. I think this guy is witty, but he is 18, and it's no shot against him being young. I just think he hasn't experienced many things in life. I think in order to comment on taxes, in order to comment on certain things, you actually have to go and live on your own for, I'd say, at least 5 years, maybe 10, before you can, not that you can't have an opinion, but just the fact that you haven't experienced what people a little bit older than you have to experience. And believe it or not, you may be smarter than me, but experience counts. And that's so I'd like to say a little bit about that. Not that your presentation, and not that you don't have things well thought out, but there's just certain things that you haven't experienced, that it makes it difficult for you to actually have more rational opinion, I guess. So let me go over some of the things you guys were talking about. I think Inmendham actually said this in one of his videos. Mail must be here. So anyway, one of the things that was mentioned is, I think you definitely have to have your 1st through 8th grade education in some kind of a school, public, private, but I think it definitely has to be on a campus or on a school ground in a classroom, whether it's a big class or a small class, for different reasons. First of all, most people, most parents, I'm not obviously, but I'm an exception. But most houses are a 2-income house where the mom and the dad go out and they work, where they're not home to stay with the kids out of necessity. Now, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't mind having more income, but I think it's a little more important to have at least one of the parents in the house. But a lot of people can't do that, so it's a necessity. So you're not going to be able to sit there and watch your kid, or prod your kid, or bribe your kid, or whatever it is, to sit there in front of a computer screen and learn how to read, write. But I think Inmendham actually conceded that a certain time frame in a school is probably a good idea. The second thing, I do disagree with Gary on this point. When you're 18, knowing how to handle a large sum of money, like $50,000 for graduation, majority, I believe, of the kids who are 18 are going to blow that on a car. Before anything else, they're going to get, and it's not going to be a car like I have. It's not going to be one that's, $16,000, $15,000. No, it's going to be the $45,000 Mustang, or it's going to be a sporty car, and then they won't be able to fill it up with gas or insurance. And the reason I say this is because the time I spent in the military, there were many people that whether they were going on temporary duty where they made some extra money, or they got a bonus through the whatever Army, Air Force, whatever branch they're in, normally they would blow that money within the first year and a half. Some of these guys got $20,000, $15,000 bonuses. The Army now, I think, is giving away 40, and the first thing they go run out and do is buy a car. Even if they have a car, they're going to go buy the car of their dreams that they've always wanted but never had the means to get it. So the first thing they do is they blow that money. So there's got to be a better way than just out and out giving them $50,000. So I'm not sure I agree with just straight up giving them cash. But I understand your point about letting them have some kind of a goal to reach an attainable goal that is very attractive for them to study. Um, and I think old I Love Ron Paul said that it should be that, you're heading towards, you get a good education, and then, but most people in their teenage years don't have the foresight. It's mostly, listen, they're living in today. What am I going to wear today? Um, I can't wait to get home to play the video games. Um, the prom's coming up. I can't wait to try to get this girl into bed. Whatever it is, most teenagers and kids do not live in thinking, if I study hard. Certainly it's been told to them, but most people don't sit there, and even though, people I've told when I was that age, they told me a lot of things. Doesn't mean that I focused on it. It just means that, yeah, it's somewhere back here in the back of my head. But most people are not living that way. They're living to, I can't wait to get my driver's license, I can't wait to get the car, I can't wait this, I can't wait that. They're not thinking, well, if I graduate, there's a possibility I get a decent job one day, go to college, get a decent job, or do whatever, get a decent job, and one day I'll have all these things. So, for I Love Ron Paul, that's my, when you say that people, that they should know that if they study hard, that their goals, their dreams will be attained, is not very realistic. So, another thing I want to bring up, and I'm going to have to speed this up, I see, is people learn in different ways. So, because I Love Ron Paul can read a book, doesn't mean that that's the best way for me to learn. I cannot stand reading books. I have to get certified on certain things to this day, and I'd rather go to a class than read a book and do it on my own. The same goes with learning over the computer. I mean, you'd have to be a pretty motivated person to sit there and want to read off of a computer all the time for your learning. But people learn in different ways, and so I don't think there's one perfect way to teach. I think there should be all these options. There should be the computer option. They have college courses on the computer. But where I do think the technology has caught up is the fact that you can actually have a teacher in one place and everybody coming in, like 30 people, if you want 30 people, over the computer and interact with the teacher. You can actually ask questions and she can answer the questions real time. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like a recorded message or teacher. The other thing is, I think 1 through 8th should be mandatory, reading, writing, arithmetic, all that good stuff. After that, they should be branched off. Like I mentioned in another video, it should be more like Germany, where, okay, this guy's not going to college, or he knows he's not going to college, or he's not college material. Okay, let's give him a skill. Let's send him to a technical school. Give him a skill where he'll be useful in the work in the work world, in the real world when he goes out. And then you can branch that off even, well, this guy, yeah, he's going to go to university, but he's really good in science and math. Let's focus on that. This is something obviously he likes. Let's give him the courses, to be a chemist and not focus so much on Shakespeare. I mean, yes, you have to learn how to, write English and speak the language correctly, but let's not have the person doesn't have to be a journalist, I guess, is what I'm getting at. They can give them those skills, but, so there's a lot of things in our system, our educational system, that can be tweaked. And I guess before I run out of time, I'm going to end this video because I don't want to speed my voice up, but I'm just hitting a few key points here and be anxious to see what you guys think. But I think both of you agree that the current system could use some tweaking, and so I just figured I'd throw this out there. Okay.